Welcome back, Fantas, to Kenan and Kel with Adam and Aaron. I'm your host, Adam.
Don't touch that dial. And I'm Aaron. I mean, did I jump the gun?
No,
did I hang
fine.
up early?
Oh, are you? Yeah, I got it. You're doing all these kind of puns. We're the Kenan and Kel podcast, where we review every single episode of Kenan and Kel, the 90s Nickelodeon sitcom. And we are actually doing that today. For like the once in the past like 24 episodes, we're doing our mission statements and talking about Kenan and Kel.
Now I know you have us on speed dial on your Spotify apps.
Okay, this has to end. You should hang up on this a bit.
Adam, I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to put you on hold as I talk about these phone jokes that I have. Yes, Adam is correct. We are reviewing another episode of Kenan and Kel, not a lost episode, as you may be thinking.
Yeah.
Not an episode of the show Lost.
No, we're not doing Lost episode 1.
We are reviewing an episode that actually won a lot of praise from the Fantas out there. Adam, do you want to talk about how this came about?
Yes. We had a March Madness tournament in March.
It's October.
Yes. So 6 months later, we're putting forth the rewards of that effort, where we put all like 64 episodes. That includes Good Burger and the movie. We put them all like in a bracket based off our like rankings for them, like daily Twitter threads.
He means X.
Daily Twitter polls. Twitter back then. Daily Twitter polls about. I
thought you just ignored me.
Comparing.
I thought you put me on mute.
We compared the two in these orders. It beats Picture Imperfect, Futurama, Fenced In, The Cold War, Baggin' Saggin' Kel, and Mo Sweater Blues to become crowned champion of the Kenan and Kel March Madness. The episode is, of course, Dial O for Oops.
Those episodes are no joke. Those are some serious. Mo Sweater Blues.
Fenced In.
Baggin' Saggin' Kel made it that far in the tournament. I mean,
that was the biggest surprise, I think.
Yeah.
I think people like the name of Baggin' Saggin' Kel. That's why it had legs that it did.
Yeah, and all throughout that tournament, we had to break up with some of our favorite Kenan and Kel episodes as they drove through the night on dark, stormy roads.
It was heartbreaking, but I'm glad that those favorites that we put behind us led the way to this champion.
I don't know if any of. I think half of the things we said might have been phone jokes. Yeah, I was surprised, frankly, that Dial O for Oops made it this far.
Yeah.
And I was also pleasantly surprised going back and watching the episode, because the last time I watched it was when we reviewed it in depth.
Do you know when we reviewed it?
I'm going to guess it was in 2020.
Yep, July 2020.
Oh my gosh.
You were talking about like all your visions of being a physics teacher.
Oh my God.
The things you would teach the kids.
Oh my God. I should go back and listen to that.
Yeah, I did listen to it, so I'm going to pull up some quotes and quiz us on a couple of things that we said, like predicted was going to happen.
If you've been following the podcast, you know that I never ended up teaching physics, thank God. Thank God. For those kids, for me.
Yeah, for everyone involved with that.
Oh, goodness gracious. Those were some dark days.
Before we get any further along with the episode, would you please join me for some Kenan and Kel news? Big things happening on the eve of Good Burger 2.
Here it is. After all this time, we have single-handedly, Adam and I have single-handedly pulled Kenan and Kel out of the dark ether of the media universe and have put it on center stage. You're welcome.
If you want to like watch this episode that we're going to watch today, you can watch it on Paramount Plus or Netflix. Kenan and Kel's everywhere because of us.
And if you'd like to say thank you, Adam and Aaron, we are on Patreon. No, I'm kidding. We are not. You can Venmo me, though. I accept donations. Tax deductible.
Yeah, so Good Burger 2 had a big showing at the New York Comic Con this past weekend. They had a panel. Our good friends Kevin and Heath, as well as the producer Phil Traver, and surprise guests, the producers of the film, Kenan and Kel.
Hey, yeah, great for them for showing up.
It's definitely I would call it a point of controversy because of the strikes that are happening right now.
Right.
But as the marquee showed them when they came out, producers is what they're there functioning as, not as the actors.
Okay.
A lot of celebrities like showed up at Comic-Con, but they like didn't talk about their projects.
Okay.
But as producers, they kind of had that liberty. Kind of a loophole.
The panel was, had Kevin and Heath, right? Mm-hmm. It's like these are the guys who created their stardom in the beginning, at least saw their potential and then, helped them along the way. And then they were there, because this is a big thing that's happening for everybody, and everybody's hopefully getting paid for it too.
As producers, they are. The only minute of the show I've seen is like them getting on stage and like shaking their hands, dancing to the All That theme.
I like that they walked up to the All That theme.
It's very on brand.
Yeah, it's cool. And what they're doing for young people, young funny people, is still a great thing.
Oh yeah, we might see some of that in Good Burger too. But yeah, everyone there had the paper hats on, and I'm sad we couldn't be there ourselves. But to match your current motives of not seeing any of Good Burger 2, they did show 10 minutes of the movie.
They showed 10 minutes?
10 whole minutes of it.
That's a lot of minutes of a 120-minute movie. No, wait. Yeah, no, I mean more like 90 minutes. I'm sorry. It's going to be 90 minutes, right? I mean, there's no...
Hour 40 is what's been announced.
Okay. I was in between what I just said.
You're right there,
Adam. Like, I haven't been following because I've been blind on purpose.
You've been hiding.
I've been hiding. Yeah. What does the average person who's watched Good Burger 20 years ago and is possibly gonna watch Good Burger 2? What can they expect? Can they expect like another really funny movie, or do you think it's gonna be more of a kid friendly?
It's tough. They don't make as many family comedies as they used to, so it's almost like a genre that's like unpolished. Like it's rare. So I think it's got that working against it. But the people on the team that are making that content have been making that family friendly content for years and years and years.
Right. That's kind of. My hope is that it's good, at least in the writing sense, right?
It's one of those things. Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, if this was in a vacuum, if it was like a Coming to America 2, where it's like the cast has never seen each other in forever, the chemistry is gone, we're really dusting off like Zoolander 2, like we're doing this for the money,
like Fuller House.
Yeah, like that kind of like, hey, it's a reunion,
like The Office reboot.
I feel like everyone has been slowly, like over years, honing this like chemistry more. It's been building up slowly, which I think is going to really, really help it out.
Yeah.
So that I think it's going to be above average when it comes to those reunion specials.
Yeah, and we haven't talked too much about this for the integrity of Kenan and Kel, of course, but. Kenan's been incredibly successful, and Kel has been much less successful than the longest-standing member on SNL ever. So I don't know. I wonder. A lot of it does kind of seem like Kenan is doing this kind gesture to Kel in like a professional way, but also, I feel like Kenan's actually a good guy and wants to do this.
Oh yeah,
and wants to have something for his kids to,
to enjoy.
Yeah, that's. I'm feeling like it's a both and situation.
Yeah, and I think that Kel is definitely. He's one of the ones where it's like because he doesn't have that stardom level of Kenan, he can like play the field. Like he can do all kinds of fun like spots and stuff. For example, he was just on Celebrity Wheel of Fortune.
Oh, cool.
Him and get this, Kim Fields.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, so they reunited on there.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah, I mean...
Kim Fields, director of many episodes of Kenan and Kel, including the one we're about to watch.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's... I'm so happy for both of them, I am. And I hope Kel can keep the momentum going, because he seems like he is loving it. He loves entertaining people.
He seems just generally happy and healthy in the way that he hasn't been for years.
Yeah, he's got like some pastor like things on Instagram too, which are very, very warm-hearted and definitely good for. He's definitely kid focused, but listen, kids need role models. He's a good guy to look up to. Like I used to look up to Bear Grylls. I feel like if Kel is the age that Kel is now, he might do a reality show at some point or be like a host. That's kind of like where he's headed. But
he might be the next host of Wheel of Fortune because It's still Pat Sajak.
Oh my God.
Although I did read next year, June 2024, he's officially retiring. And do you have any guesses at who's going to replace him?
Kel Mitchell.
No, I wish. I wish with all my hearts.
Linda Ellerby.
No, you're
Am I getting warmer?
Slightly. Think someone that was really relevant 20 years ago. That is kind of the face of
Lindsay Lohan.
Of announcing things.
Oof.
Like he may or may not host like parties coming up later this year.
Oh, Ryan Seacrest?
Ryan Seacrest is looking to be the next host of Wheel of Fortune.
He is fitting. He is the fitting choice for that.
I think he's the Pat Sajak of our generation, unfortunately.
I hope he can maintain his handsome good looks to keep women entertained for years to come.
I saw Pat Sajak. I thought he'd been replaced. That's how like kind of different he looks nowadays. He's really like undergone a stasis.
They just injected him with all this like it's just Botox and cow hormones, you know, just keep him looking his best.
Okay, so those were the two pieces of news I wanted to share.
I could see Kel like pulling the lottery. You know what I mean? Like he's the lottery guy.
Have that kind of energy.
I could see him like making his way up to like Groundhog Day. Like, you know, just he needs something.
I think he could guest host Jeopardy. I think he has it in him.
I think he just needs to he needs to have an edge to him, and the edge has to be like he could snap at any minute. I want him to say a bad word.
I don't think he's an edge kind of guy. I think he's more of a like a Jimmy Fallon type. Like he'd have a late night talk show that no one is offended by. He's
made for network TV, truly.
Yeah.
Right. And I don't know if he's a talk show kind of guy. He's an interesting guy because like, where's he from?
Chicago.
Like actually.
I think so.
But then he spent so much of his like developmental years where he would be like hanging out with his friends and like, you know, forming a sense of community and culture.
Doing sketch comedy in Florida.
Yeah, in Florida and LA. It's just you know, what that does to a man.
Well, let's roll back 23 years and see what was going on with him.
In case you haven't noticed, Adam and I are very huge fans of Kenan and Kel, and if you're listening, Kenan or Kel, we love you.
We love you, and we'd love to talk to you as producers of the Good Burger 2, of course.
As producers of Kenan and Kel with Adam and Aaron, here we are reviewing Dial O for Oops.
Again, if you want to hear our full thoughts on this episode, you can go back to the episode that we recorded back in July of 2020. We're going to do a scene by scene and talk about any new observations we had or celebrate the things that occurred.
All right, so we hop on the big orange couch and join Coolio, who just sang a theme song that I've missed.
R.I.P.
When we recorded this episode, Coolio was alive.
the first major difference. We also used to do intros for the show, if you recall.
The Dan Carlins. Oh man, I really did have a vision there that I'd let die.
Aaron, do you know what your intro was about? Do you have any guesses?
Is it the telephone?
Yes, it's the history of the telephone.
Okay, come on, that's
our dependence on technology.
See, I feel like we lost a lot of listeners from those intros.
Yeah, they didn't realize that they were only going to happen for like 20 episodes.
Yeah, sorry about that, Adam.
It's okay. This show is also, in addition to capturing how Kenan and Kel changes, how we change as people.
Well said. Those were my dreams back then, to be Dan Carlin, I think.
So Kenan and Kel emerge on stage. You commented on Kenan's outfit. He says it looks like he has a Flyers jersey on.
It's exactly what it looks like, and this is the jersey he's wearing in the theme song, right?
It is.
Yep.
And it is also a Flyers jersey.
What?
For like this outfit, they took the logo off it. They made their own muchacho mob, like grinning face.
Smirking. Wow. How do you know that's definitely the Flyers colors.
In my research since we first saw this, their outfits in the theme song were adapted from like jerseys. I think Kel's is a Knicks jersey.
Nice piece of Americana right there.
Yeah. The Muchacho Mob logo design, the smiling face, is now sold at our store.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yes. I had a good friend Tom mock up a design for us.
That's awesome. Yeah, so we're on stage. Kenan's wearing this great jersey.
So another one of our comments at the time is that this episode was very formulaic. Future episodes were really based off how this one went.
Right.
The intro really introduces the gimmick of the episode, which is the phone. So they have like a phone call bit where they're calling each other on stage.
Yeah. Kel is talking about first off, Kel starts with like a little like stand-up bit. He's talking about a movie that he watched last night. Mm-hmm. What is it? It was Big Baby Jake or something?
Fat Baby Jake.
Fat Baby Jake, yeah. And then Kenan is like, what is distracting him? He hands him the phone, and then Kel answers, like he calls him, and then he's like, "Would you introduce the show?"
Yeah, it's a fun bit, good chemistry. They kick it off, and we go to our scene at the Rockmore household.
You know, I just like watching the facial expressions, like from that opening scene.
They're so timeless.
I mean, you really are like watching the young actors learn how to do like, because you're in front of an audience, in front of a curtain, and you're just entertaining them. It's stand up. Like they're just up there making people laugh.
They were 18 when this happened.
Yeah. That's impressive.
12 years ago, I can't even fathom doing anything remotely like this.
No, but they're really like, if you watch them, if you take this episode as just like a part of their creative process, they're so like honing their craft.
Yeah, you can see that. Oh yeah, no, of course Kenan went on to do this day weekly. The first return to Saturday Night Live he did the night before the New York Comic-Con showing, and like he's just a workhorse. Like he's incredible, and it has been for many years.
He just did this past weekend. He just did Coach Prime.
Oh yeah.
It was hilarious. It was like, I don't always see them, but like that one was so funny because Deion Sanders, and he's just like he coaches like a now mediocre like college football team. Who is like hyped? They're so hyped up, and so Kenan was just like joking, like it's like, yeah, well, you know, there's nobody better than us, and the other guys, it's like, well, actually, there's a few undefeated teams still.
He's still killing it in sketch comedy, even to this day.
What I love about the show, though, it's not just Kenan and Kel. There's other great actors, and Roger had me cracking up this next scene. He's so good in this scene.
He's good, and I also know Cheryl for the first time. She is playing a really muted performance, but she's also so sick of the Dawsons. She doesn't care at all. She is mad that she's taking the last piece of cake and all this stuff. So yeah, the Dawsons are over. They're Kenan's daddy's bosses family.
Kenan's daddy's bosses. Yeah. This man, Dawson, he is just horrible man.
Yeah, he's. I described him earlier as double Roger. Twice as mean, twice as bald, or half as bald, I guess.
He's got really bad hair. But then, they're sitting down, clearly not enjoying themselves. And then Kenan and Kel barge in. Kel grabs the last piece of cake that was about to go to Mrs. Dawson, starts eating it.
Yep.
It's funny.
They had been at the opera, and in our episode, I was like, I didn't do any homework on 1996 operas in Chicago.
But this time...
Lyric, the Opera of Chicago, and their 1996 to 1997 season, hosted several wonderful performances, including Don Carlo, Gianni Ciccini, Il Tabarro, Suor Angelica, and the Consul.
And just so everybody knows how this show that me and Adam are doing works, that we've done almost 100 episodes of, we will learn things about the show that nobody else knows.
Yes.
Including the people who wrote the show. Yeah. That's half the fun for us, is talking to the people who wrote the show and saying, so did you mean this? And they're like, no.
My goal, especially with this episode, is to make a better podcast episode than our first go-rounds.
Okay. I think without the Dan Carlin intro, we're well on our way.
Kenan is going to go upstairs, and he meets Amy, the daughter of the Dawsons. And she is everything to him. She's his whole world. They have a 30-second flirting scene that he declares that he loves her afterwards.
And then he declares he loves her. But during that, he has to impress her. So he's like, "Oh, you guys went to the opera? That's awful." She's like, "Oh, I actually like the opera." He goes, "Oh, me too."
Yeah. What's your favorite opera? And he goes, "You know, the one where the guy goes, la, 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 la."
He didn't do it that good. That was good, Adam.
Oh, thank you. Except instead of the last la, he says, "Hello," to Mr. Dawson, who comes to collect Amy.
And Mr. Dawson is clearly just hates life.
Why is he bellowing?
Which didn't get a laugh from the audience.
No. Neither did his joke earlier about, "Many airplanes are up."
I work at the airport. That's an airport joke. Roger forces a laugh, like a exaggerated laugh, at the airplane joke. And it's like a little bit delayed.
Yeah, it's a little delayed, and you see him going like really hard into it.
Oh my gosh. It's great. It's exactly what you'd want from a forced laughter. He's also wearing a tie that looks like it was found in a costume department.
I think all of their ties are from the costume department, Aaron.
No, it was found in a vat in the bottom of the costume department.
He collects her. Kenan says, "I love you," as she walks away. That his parents think is for them. And we meet Chris. We go right to Rigby's.
His parents say, of course, "I love you too, son."
So you actually see him getting everything together and picking all the pieces of the dining room as Kenan inquires more about Amy. Like, "Oh, what's her age? Does she have a boyfriend?" And Roger, in one of his, I would call greatest parenting bits on the show, advises Kenan to not go after her.
Because Mr. Dawson is mean to everybody. He doesn't want him to be mean to his son, Kenan.
Aww.
And it is. You're right. Great parenting moment.
Mm-hmm.
He's wearing a suit. He looks sharp. He looks great. And he's like, "Listen, Kenan, some people are just not worth chasing after."
Heed my fatherly advice. Kenan does not do that. He makes out with the pillow as if it's Amy, and Kel goes to throw up.
You know, we're jump right into this season 1 love-struck Kenan.
Mm-hmm.
He is really hitting all the 14-year-old numbers.
15.
He's hitting all the 15-year-old,
Oh, yeah.
all the buttons of a 15-year-old.
Yeah, he's doing all the cliches, such as...
Is this podcast better than the first one?
So far, no.
So far, this is worse. Yeah. One of the cliches, of course, we go to the Rigby's or behind the power counter. Mm-hmm. Chris is flipping through Kenan's notebook that just has Amy written thousands of times.
Yeah. And Kel's all like, "I think it's about Amy." And he's all, "You think?" I appreciated the way that Chris was written last time we reviewed this one, and I still appreciate it. I think this is Chris in top peak form.
He's in peak form, but it's not enough Chris.
No, he need more of him.
I love how Kenan is just dreamily staring for half of this scene.
Chris inquires why he's not asking out Amy, since he's clearly in love with her. And Kel laughs because his daddy won't let him. "I've been forbidden," Kenan says with all the drama that he can.
Chris says, "Well,
you should listen to what your father says." And Kel says, "I agree with Chris." And Chris says, "I must be wrong then."
And he gets a little laugh. Oh, yeah. Good Chris Kel dynamic. Mm-hmm. They figured that out pretty early.
Yeah, this is the writings of Kevin and Heath.
Then Kenan has the resolute, determined face.
Yeah, he does what he does that we love that he does. He decrees.
This is probably one of Kenan's greatest personality traits. He thinks something and then does it.
He goes all in, 100%. "I will seek out her hand."
And he has this great line. It's great, like a little monologue. He goes, "My dad he's married. He's been married for 20 years. He doesn't understand what it means to love a woman."
As someone that has gotten married since I last watched this episode.
Is he right, Adam?
First of all,
don't answer that. It's a trick.
I have to say no. But I do want to say that it's true to an extent that his dad doesn't recognize young love. Like, it's an old, ancient love now. It's a deep, salt of the earth love. It's not like this kind of swinging big. I think dads in later sitcoms might support Kenan's kind of efforts, regardless of how futile they may be.
What sitcom are you imagining? What sitcom dad are you imagining talking to Kenan?
Modern Family's got a pretty supportive dad.
That show is not as funny as this, though.
It's not, no. You can tell because there's no laugh track.
Kenan goes home with Kel, and he looks for something which we don't have anymore.
He looks for the address book.
Yeah, he needs to call the Dawsons to leave a message for Amy. Well, actually not leave a message, but just to call Amy.
And speaking of calls, Kel checks out the answering machine.
And this is a really good bit. Really good writing. It's the first message is from Kenan's grandmother, who says that he left his teddy bear at her house, and Cal starts cracking up.
One of Kenan's 3 grandmothers that we see on the show. There's another grandmother at Thanksgiving, and there's a 3rd grandmother that's from, like, Hawaii.
How do you know it's not the same? One of them's not the same.
It might be. I think they have all different traits.
Yes. Well, I mean,
they live in different areas. Actually, wait. There's another grandmother in one of the books.
You know too much.
I know way too much. I know way too much about this show, Aaron.
You know too much.
Make it stop.
This episode is so much worse. We have proven we can't re-review an episode.
No. Well, here's the punchline, Aaron. I feel the same way about this episode that I did 3 years ago. I know so much, but I'm unchanged by my viewing. This show is perfect at encapsulating our feelings forever about this show.
I suppose. What I really love is how this answering machine bit builds the entire episode.
Yes.
Before this, it was just any other Kenan and Kel episode. It was doing things the Hemingway, climbing up the Sears Tower, professing his love to a woman. This is like, okay, this is where it all comes from.
And the second message on the answering machine is his dad complaining about Mr. Dawson. Very angrily talking about how he's a big, mean jerk.
And he's dumb. He's stupid. Yeah, stupido.
He's a loser, Mr. Dawson.
Mr. Dawson ain't know what it's like to be me.
So they hear that. He finds their dress. He goes up to his room for one of the greatest scenes in Kenan and Kel.
Yeah, right. This is the scene that makes it a winner of the bracket.
The pinnacle of Kenan and Kel. This kind of like several minute scene, like a 7-minute scene of them in the room, getting ready. Kenan wants to call Amy, but he's too nervous, so he and Kel practice. Kel plays Amy, and he does everything. Now,
when we were talking to Kevin and Heath, they said, one of the things that Kel would do is he would do a scene and then do it again, and do it again, and do it again. And I have to think that this was one of those where he just kept doing it, and it kept getting funnier and funnier and funnier.
And when he was finally doing it on stage in front of the live audience, he had everything on it.
Yeah, it was
He's put his lipstick on in the mirror. He's answering the phone like, hello.
He's pushing his chest out a little bit.
Oh, Kenan, you animal.
But he even waits a couple minutes to pick up the phone. Like just the attention to detail. Kenan's ring. Ring. It's a good 15 seconds of him getting ready in the mirror.
Man, pick up the shoe. So yeah, he poses and he's like, let me just get on the other shoe. Boop, boop. Girl! He's talking to his friend. It's Kenan with all the dreadlocks.
And it's, oh my God, it's so funny.
I have to give a shout out here to @Upcar, who was a huge proponent of our Kenan and Kel March Madness bracket. Big on posting about it, and he had strong once some of the favorites dropped. He wanted to champion Dial Over Oops all the way to the end, and in his campaign to do so, he shared clips of people reenacting this scene on YouTube. Teens reenacting this with maybe less than 100 views.
Oh my God.
Yeah. This is the scene where Mr. Dawson gets felt up later, but those were to me it just I think it perfectly encapsulates why this is a winning episode, because of the energy that the two have in this moment.
Well, this is something that boys would do
Yeah.
Right. It's like, this is actually, he's not just holding up his like hand or a banana. He's holding a shoe, like a basketball shoe, just up to his ear. Kenan's got his room decked out with everything. It's just such a piece of the 90s.
They're doing what the boys doing. Like they're roasting each other, like slapping each other as this bit goes on. In the first episode, I played what the actual answering machine message was.
Oh.
And I'm going to do that again, because what happens is Kenan gets intimidated by Mr. Dawson's voice, gives the phone to Kel to hang up, and Kel fails to hang it up.
Right, and Kenan wasn't prepared to leave a message. Mm-hmm. Which, listen, folks, kids, okay? This is a good lesson. Always be ready to leave a message.
Yeah.
Or else you'll sound so stupid.
I think I leave more messages than I get answers nowadays.
Oh. No, I'm kidding.
Okay. I mean, not in like a bad way.
No, I'm kidding.
So yeah, this is what the full answer message that he leaves is.
Honestly, my favorite part of that is the very end. He goes, "Oh no, this is Fernando."
Fernando Montalban.
So they used to when I used to work at the restaurant, the one cook was she was Mexican, and so she couldn't say Aaron. She'd say Ere. She didn't have like the last part of it, so she just called me Fernando. So,
well, there you go.
I forgot how how much this scene means to me on a personal level.
You told that story last time.
Did I?
No, you didn't.
I missed a great opportunity to tell a origin story of my greatest nickname.
We're really getting into it now. That was the hint. Now this is the reveal of why Fernando's important.
Well, this is it. I mean, yeah. My coworkers today still call me Fernando. I tell that story to everybody. I'm in people's phones today as Fernando.
Okay. The rest of the episode, I want to shop scene by scene here. They go downstairs, are like crazy about, what do we do? And Kenan's idea is, let's swap out the answer machine message.
Right.
The whole tape.
So let's get a new tape. Mm-hmm. And this is how answering machines work, kids.
You press a button, it ejects. That means it opens up, and there's a tape inside there. A tape is like a VHS tape. A VHS tape is like an old DVD. A DVD is like an old Blu-ray disc.
You know what gets me is that like my voicemail box still gets full. What's that? What's that about?
I think it's something about our plan or something. It has to be.
It has to be like Verizon.
Why is mine full? It's not.
I have 4 messages in there.
I've got 100 gigs of information, but my voicemail box is always full.
I have 2 terabytes of storage, and my voicemail box is full.
Yeah, no, it's ridiculous.
Where is there an actual box somewhere?
Yeah,
they're printing out floppy disks of every time you get a voicemail.
Yeah, there's a cassette tape somewhere in a giant tower of them. That for us. And it all has to be recorded on there.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, so I do want to say one thing about like as Kenan's leaving the message. There's a great camera clip. Like they're over at the Dawson's phone and answering machine, and then they start zooming in on the answering machine.
Oh yeah.
That's a great piece of production right there.
Mm-hmm.
When Kenan is like figuring out what we have to do, he has this look. I mean, it's like it's the Kenan look. He's like
determined look.
This is gonna work out fine. Don't even think about it. Cal's like, wait, what are you gonna do? What doesn't matter. Like
he goes over with no plan whatsoever. In fact, the plan that he gets later on of just like, let's wait for them to show up and then we'll get inside is way better than what they do initially, which is go there and panic. Kel, the first thing he does is he breaks the lamp. He tries to climb up to the window, breaks the lamp. Oh, by the way, this door, I want to say this time, I just know the mail slot just says mail on it.
I don't think it needs to say mail.
No, I think we all know what that is. So they break that. Kel drops his watch inside the mail slot.
There's a great scene where the camera looks through the mail slot and sees the answering machine.
Oh yeah, it's really good.
That is awesome. You feel like you're there, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then that feeling, like you're right there with Kenan and Kel, like about to, I don't even know. Like I don't even know what, I guess you're trying to break in.
It's time to try to get up to no good.
We're like, okay, we need to fix this thing, this horrible thing. Kenan left this horrible message. And at his dad's boss. I mean, this is amazing. We're actually at a place in this episode where Kenan could like seriously handicap his dad's ability to like provide for his family. The stakes are pretty high.
He might lose his job. They might have to move. Like what's
They have to move to Pumice,
Montana. Follow his dreams.
I've always wanted to be a park ranger.
You, in the first episode, commented that this is a great example of entropy. Kel's like chaotic energy that he brings.
It's a great example. Gosh, I should go back and teach physics. Just watching, this is exactly what entropy is. It just continues to get out of less and less order.
In order to get Kel's watch back, they put his gum on a hose nozzle, stick it in, and as they do, they're like humming the Mission Impossible theme.
That is hilarious.
They're dun dun da da dun dun da. The hose isn't long enough. They yank it, and it is twisted around the spouts. Poor form on Mr. Dawson or Mrs. Dawson. This is not how you put away a hose.
I mean, I'm just surprised that the hose, for a moment, the writing here, okay?
Yeah.
Okay, this is hilarious. They go, how could we make this? Okay, we have Kenan and Kel outside of his dad's boss's house. Okay, he has to get inside. Go. Like, how do you make it the worst? I would have loved to just be a fly on the wall as they're writing the scene.
Yeah.
This is
adding water
funny.
makes everything worse. Except for those little sponge dinos. They get better. They twist it on. It's spraying on the inside, causing a big scene. I also noticed something neat about Mr. Dawson's house I didn't see before. Over his like fireplace on his mantle is a giant propeller. It's a giant like old timey times plane propeller.
Yeah, he's got like plane art, and he's got some birds. He like loves aviation. This guy,
big aviation fan, Mr. Dawson.
I have a friend. It's and he's like an aerospace engineer studying to be one. But I just like birds, so I'm like, yeah, tell me about how birds fly. Take all that knowledge and apply it to something that doesn't need to even think about it. Birds are just out here flying.
It's like the intro to the Bee Movie. They're just like, look, this doesn't make any sense. This doesn't follow any laws of aviation, but bees don't care about that.
They just do it, man.
To paraphrase.
Above the fireplace on the mantle, there's just like this little statue. And then like it clearly shows the water like spraying the statue and knocking it over. It's a little touch, but it's nice.
To resolve this, Kenan entrusts Kel to turn off the hose. Kel comes back with the hose handle that he has removed from it, so it's spraying at max volume. But luckily, Kel cuts the hose with hedge clippers. Kenan then can pull the hose out and tosses at Kel. And Kel makes like a really, really loud shout. And I didn't catch this before, but the scene of Kel walking back and like slipping everywhere, Kenan's busting up laughing. Kenan's like smiling and just like it's okay.
Kenan pulls the rest of the hose out from inside. He chucks it off to the side, hits Kel in the head. Kel is just doing the best slapstick here. I mean, it
was underrated. We didn't appreciate the first go round, but his slapstick's very good here.
It's primetime Kel. And Kenan has just ruined the inside of their house.
And they look through the mail slot. They see this ruination.
Ruination.
What's Kenan's plan?
We're gonna wait for them to get back, and then we'll switch out the tape, right?
Yep. What he should have done to start with. Wait till someone's home.
The chairs, the draperies, all the moisture. This is a great moment. Like Kenan and Kel are peering through the mail slot. Oh, I don't think I can take a screenshot here. I was gonna send it to you, but
oh, I get it.
Oh my god! Can I share my screen?
I'll share this with all you fans out there.
Look at this. Isn't that the best thing
That's
ever?
a really good image. Captions really improved this episode.
That's what I mean. Like, this is the thing we would never capture the first time around.
No, we need this second go around to really get all the
writing is so good. The draperies.
Yeah, because he could just say, "Oh no, it's all wet." I think he'd do that in a regular sitcom because it's so
He goes,
so good.
It's wrong. It's just wrong.
I'm gonna save this picture as all the moisture.
Oh, this is it's so funny. They have made this situation so much worse. It was already terrible.
And they look so defeated just in that one moment. And there's so much defeat more to come. They're so defeated they go to sleep. They take a nap. They sleep out in the open under the stars in front of the Dawson's house.
What I do love though is Kenan says no, we're not gonna run away. We are gonna wait here.
Like men.
Good lesson here.
Yeah. I mean, he's not waiting to own up to his mistakes. He's waiting to trick them in the morning. And when the Dawsons arrive home, they also visit their grandmother.
Were there not bloopers of this scene of them?
There are, yes.
Right, I've seen those bloopers.
There's outtakes of the newspaper guy.
That is such a good... That is so funny.
The first time we watched this, we said that it wasn't worth it. Now, I have done a 180 on that. It's so worth it.
Oh my god, this is hilarious.
Wait, here we go.
You can see the shadow. Wait, do you see his shadow?
Yeah, there's a shadow of like an arm, like delivering it.
It's just standing right there in the arm. Look at it down here.
Yeah, I'm seeing.
Right at it.
You can see the arm. It's not like
look at
no one's driving by. You can see like a hand.
Just walk up, throw it at Kenan, and leave. Oh.
No, this was a good episode to go back to. Thank you, March Madness.
Oh my god, that should be that's an Amazon Prime ad right there.
Yeah. What Kenan does is he reaches in to see if they can find his watch, and instead he grabs Mr. Dawson. Mr. Dawson opens the door and asks him, "Why are you reaching through my mail slots and feeling me?"
I love it that like their art is destroyed. There's just water on all over their drywall. Oh, it's terrible. Kenan and Kel end up inside. And Kenan, what do you call this? He holds church. Is this what Kenan does?
He does his best to explain the situation. Last time I wrote it out. I'm gonna read it again. Because Kenan says...
Are these your notes from last time? Wait, are these your notes?
I pulled my notes from last time.
Yeah. There you go.
What, do you have your notebook still?
No. Are you kidding?
Kenan says, it all started a long time ago, when I was just a little thing. There was one day, there was a dark and stormy night, or day, or evening, when I came to be on this earth.
This sounds like a Trump speech.
Just all intros.
There was this one day.
No
it
meets.
was a dark and stormy night.
Mr. Dawson is very upset with him, but luckily, Kel, in the background, is having a crazy slapstick time swapping out the tapes. He does it. He succeeds. Mr. Dawson, before he calls Kenan's dad, is reminded by Kel to check his messages.
And we hear, what? But Kenan's grandmother telling him he left his teddy bear, which Kenan is like, Kel, you were supposed to get a new tape. New tape? I thought you said blue tape.
And the second message, which is his dad chewing out Mr. Dawson, who is deeply hurt by his expression at hearing this. He's like heartbroken.
He's like, I know I'm mean, but I didn't know I was dumb.
Meanwhile, Amy's loving it. She's cracking up. She's having a great time hearing this message.
And it cuts out for me, Adam. I don't know what happens next.
That's it. We theorized at the time that maybe the episode went a little bit longer, but they cut it for time.
That's quite the theory. That's not how it works.
No. After talking to Kevin, this is where the episode ended.
Yeah, they ended it in the middle of the chaos. Yeah.
Yep, at the greatest part.
The storm at sea, yeah.
Kenan reveals that his dad's not in trouble because Mr. Dawson is leaving. He's moving to a different town, a different department.
Oh, okay. That's convenient.
Amy comes out in front of the curtains. And she's like, Kenan, I still really like you. I'd like to go on a date with you. But, unfortunately, I have to move to Alaska. Yeah, it's very sad.
That's sad, but...
That's incongruent, is what Kenan says. Kenan, basically decrees one more time. It's like, my heart still belongs to Amy. Kel, get peanut butter, snowshoes, and meet me at the bus stop.
Come on.
Nope, no come on yet.
Nothing yet?
This is his first list.
Oh!
That he gives. Yeah. It actually makes sense now that I think about it. Now that I've sat on it for 3 years, snowshoes are for Alaska. It's snowy there. And peanut butter for like dog sleds and stuff like that. They're going to... The goal is to get some dogs to mush from the bus stop to Amy's residence.
Wait, what does he say? Peanut butter, what's the list?
Peanut butter and snowshoes.
There's no dogs there.
Maybe he'll look at the dogs.
Maybe the peanut butter's for him to eat. Why do there have to be dogs? I don't think dog sled dogs eat peanut butter.
All dogs love peanut butter, Aaron.
You're like, oh, it makes perfectly good sense now.
All right, I'll explore this again in 3 years. I'll come up with an answer.
Okay, can I just make a comment? Mr. Dawson's hair is so glued on. It's like painfully glued on.
Do you know what a cartoon character you said his hair looked like?
No.
You said his hair looked like the ears that Momo from Avatar has.
What? See, that seems like a good reference, but
yeah.
But I can't even picture what Momo.
Aaron, I'll be honest with you. I don't know if this is a better episode. So I don't. We're all over the place. We were all over the place then too, but we had an excuse back then. We did all these in the show. We did this for 3 years. Why is this so? Why
do you know
why
why,
are we
Adam?
at the standard?
Do you know why?
Why is that?
It's because we never knew what we were doing. We still don't.
We still don't know. I guess if you know 0, then you multiply it by a bunch of stuff. You still know 0, huh?
Adam, I'm gonna do us a favor for our egos right here. There are people around the world who listen to this podcast on repeat at work, have in the past, right? Mm-hmm. Okay.
I myself have listened to this show before. Today.
It's fun.
I see what you're saying, that this will be appreciated by someone out there in the universe.
Maybe. Okay. And if it's not, we don't have to worry about it, because we never did this for money.
Aaron, whose fault do you think we said this was? Kenan's or Kel's?
Kenan's fault.
Wrong. We decided it was Kel's.
What? Now that makes no sense. What are you talking
about? Yeah. I mean, he didn't hang up the phone. He swapped the wrong message in. He broke the lamp and the hose.
Okay.
I agree with you. In retrospect, Kenan is the puppet master.
Right, we're talking about the formula. The formula is Kenan has a scheme.
And Kel makes it worse.
And this
matches that.
Kel did perfectly, but Kenan's still the one. He just has to call Amy.
The actress that plays Amy, her real name is Mona Lisa the Ninth, according to IMDb. I pointed this out last time. I still have not found out anything about what the Ninth is.
Mona Lisa the Ninth?
Yeah, IX is after her name.
That can't be a real name.
8 generations of Mona Lisas in her family.
Oh my gosh.
The very first one was captured in some painting that I've never heard of before.
What if there was like a play back in the day, and instead of it being an answering machine plot, it was like a messenger, a messenger who listened to a message and delivered it when they weren't supposed to.
Yeah, I want to see this episode redone in like a Futurama style, but like in medieval times.
That's what this show is missing. I mean, I know they had a little bit of like the saloon thing with the which one was it? It was Cousin Skeeter.
Yeah.
But like we needed a real episode out west. We needed a real episode. I mean, I guess we were in Montana, but
if we had a season 5, it would just all be Futuramas of them in different like time zone periods.
I want
different
that.
time zones. Yeah, they're in Hawaii. We talked about all our usual stuff. I do not have a Fanta cam for us this one. All the Fantas are out there where we want to be in Newark Comic Con, watching the first 10 minutes of Good Burger too.
I don't know where we go from here.
Well, I think we're going to Good Burger too.
That's right. We're on the tracks. Mm-hmm. We're gonna get discovered after Good Burger 2 comes out.
Oh yeah, that's when we get big.
That's it. It's the very last bit, the piece of Kenan and Kel universe, the last piece of the puzzle. Then it will be complete. We will have 100 episodes.
Nearly complete.
So what about the first time we reviewed this episode made it so much better, Adam? Was it our thoughtfulness, our care, our candor,
no,
our youthful vigor, our bachelorism?
Aaron, I'll be honest. I said that as some kind of gambit to make this episode better. I think that was a good laugh that pushed up and above it.
Oh, I don't even know what that means. A gambit, like the chess term.
Yeah, like a queen's gambit.
That's the only one I know. Are there other gambits?
Yeah, there's a knight's gambit, a rook's gambit. But Aaron, you gave this episode 8 bottles of orange soda.
Wow, I forgot we used to rate episodes.
I gave this one 7 bottles of orange soda. I think that I respect this more than I did back then.
Right.
I think I would give it now closer to an 8, maybe a 7.5.
I gave it an 8 last time.
Yep.
I'm glad I gave it higher than you because I definitely have better taste.
Wow.
I'm gonna move it up to an 8.5.
Okay. Maybe
for the records. For the record book.
Yeah.
I hope you're keeping track out there, people.
By this logic of this one episode that this one and only episode that we are re-reviewing, if we just watch the episode again, we will like it more, which I think is true to many of these. You did spend a lot of the episode, the original one, complaining about In the Line of Kenan, which we had just watched the week before.
And now I feel bad because we interviewed the people who wrote that episode.
Maybe now we would like it more.
Oh, man, I really did not do that episode. I think I would appreciate the whole entire show more now because I had 2 years of instructing young children about how to be better humans.
That wore you down?
And it humbled me. I'm much less quick to judge now. Because some people choose to be teachers, and that just shows a true lack of judgment. What are they doing? We'll just leave the kids. Leave them alone. Let them play Candy Crush. They'll be fine.
I think this shows that we both have been broken in different ways over the past 3 years. You've been worn down as a teacher. I think I've been... how am I different? I'm married now. That's a different thing. Maybe I stayed the same. Maybe that's... Maybe... no.
Wait a second. Nothing is different.
No,
you bought a house? Come on. You got married?
Yeah, a lot of big things professionally.
Did you even know your wife back when we started this?
We had been dating for like a year.
What did she think about this when it started?
I was reflecting earlier. It's like, we watched a lot of season 1 episodes together. That's not much afterwards. Yeah, she tapped out Kenan and Kel pretty quickly. I am different. I know way too much about Kenan and Kel. Clearly.
We know too much. It cripples us to know this much. But that's why we keep going, because there need to be true Kenan and Kel experts to review, not only Kenan and Kel experts, but Kevin and Heath experts.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. They're incredible writers.
Experts.
Mona Lisa the Ninth. Nobody else is going to talk about her. She did a great job.
Yeah. Aaron, I have to say, this has been a wonderful dark tunnel of old content. And I think there's no place to go but new Kenan and Kel material. Things that you and I have never seen before. And I think that's where we must go with Good Burger 2.
Wait, Good Burger 2's coming out?
In a month, if you can believe it.
You're right, Adam.
I think we're gonna have a big multi-episode like shindig like we did for Good Burger. You'll hear all our thoughts. Every inch of that movie will be covered by us.
Adam, should we treat the Fantas to a live show?
I don't know if I can deliver that. Here's the thing, Aaron. As much as I want to spend time with the Fantas, and I think we will, in a way, I want to spend that time with you.
Aw.
My co-host, my brother, my best man. And we're going to watch it for the first time, you and I, as we have watched all of Kenan and Kel. Do you have any last words for our Fantas before we see them in Good Burger 2?
It's been a long road. It's been a long time to get here. You have fought the good fight. You have finished the race. You have, that's St. Paul, right? You have drawn blood, and out that blood has come and turned orange. You are what makes this world great. Thank you for supporting this great sitcom review podcast. We love you, Fantas.
Thank you so much for listening. Aaron, take us out.
Until next time, everybody, with Good Burger 2. Here it goes. Thank you so much for listening to another episode of Kenan and Kel with Adam and Aaron. If you want to stay in touch, send us an email at KenanKelPodcast@gmail.com, or you can send us a voice message at anchor.fm/KenanKelPodcast. Our social media accounts are all at KenanKelPodcast. That's Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Thanks, everybody.